The Harrison family from South Carolina have a very helpful habit. They love to nurture injured and ill animals to regain their health. They always try their best to nurse them back to health so that they can return to their natural habitat. When they randomly took care of a baby squirrel, the family never expected that 8 years later, something amazing would happen. If you have never met or seen a squirrel, then you are probably living under a rock. We know that squirrels usually refrain from spending time or having contact with humans. They are quite timid and fearful of almost every other living being. They usually spend time looking for food and roam about in the trees. This baby squirrel was quite the exception though. It was quite unexpected for Brantley Harrison to meet with the little squirrel. The baby squirrel was found wounded, and it appeared as though it had been attacked by an angry owl there in South Carolina. Harrison was very fond of animals, so helping injured animals was a natural thing. The family took the squirrel in and named her Bella. Bella was residing with 3 other squirrels even when she was under Harrison's care. Like we had mentioned earlier, the whole family was quite fond of animals, so it was not a big surprise that they already had other squirrels as well. As soon as all of them were nursed back to health, the family decided that it was the perfect time to keep them back to their natural habitat. Squirrels are not really friendly or ever interact with humans, so a very strange thing happened. But for the Harrison family, since they would take in several animals in, it was not a shock to see that some of these animals would return to their place in a week's time. Even when these animals came back, they would eventually go back to their homes, but Bella was once again an exception. Squirrels loved food, so when Bella was living with the Harrisons, they fed her abundantly. Maybe that was something she really enjoyed. So during the time Bella was initially released, she sometimes came back to the Harrison home in search of food and treats. It was not out of the ordinary for the family. But Bella did not stop and continued doing this. As time went on, 8 years had gone by since the day they first released Bella back into the wild. Bella sits right at the front door waiting for someone to notice she has come by for a visit, Brantley explained. She has even resorted to jumping over the dining room window to peer in for someone to see her. What a strange little creature, right? Bella was one unique squirrel that did not have the traits of any ordinary squirrel they had ever encountered. She was just a very different kind that baffled the Harrison family even after all these years. The Harrisons did not treat any squirrel more special than the other. They certainly did not give Bella any special treatment, so they were confused as to why she kept returning. Even though Bella is quite the exception, the fact that she doesn't like to be touched was something she had in common with any other squirrel. She was not all that affectionate, but did not stay away from the family at the same time. Her behavior was rather strange, but somehow adorable too. She constantly wanted to be fed walnuts and other snacks. Bella was quite the clown when it comes to dealing with the family dog, Sid. When she was there for a visit, she would often tease him and joke about. She comes almost daily for a little loving, treats, and to torment our dog, Sid, through the glass door, Brantley revealed. Are you also wondering what would happen if they actually let the dog out too? This squirrel had proven to be more and more strange, but in the best way possible though. She actually does not mind wearing hats. While most animals cannot bear to wear clothes or hats, this squirrel actually enjoys this. I can't believe she lets me do it. I could not love this squirrel any more than I already do. Harrison revealed in disbelief. To have the privilege of knowing such a unique squirrel may be something we all hope to do someday, so it was not shocking to learn that the Harrisons became quite attached to Bella. They even made a decision to set up an Instagram account just to document Bella's daily antics. If you wish to look for this page, it is called Sid and Bella. We know that Bella is a very lovable squirrel, but she is quite the lucky one to be able to have met with the Harrisons. After all, we pass by squirrels every day, but who actually takes time to nurse a random injured squirrel back to health? She went ahead and got injured once again. To come to save the day and help her recover, the family was there right by her side once again. But the family did struggle to catch Bella so that they could help her get better though. She was not one to like getting touched, so she would try and run away every time. My first few attempts at catching her have failed. She has lived in the wild for over 8 years, so she is a smart squirrel, and it is not easy to trick her, Brantley gave an insight on Instagram. But after they tried several times, they could finally catch poor Bella to nurse her to get well and active again. When they finally caught hold of Bella, they did their best to improve the foot injury that she had met with. The family was already convinced that she had shown them every weird quirk about herself, but before leaving, she had one more surprise. It turned out that Bella was actually pregnant all along. During the time she was recovering from her foot injury, she welcomed 3 baby squirrels. It was truly amazing to watch the baby I raise her own babies, Harrison claimed. Bella really did make a very positive impact on the whole family. Harrison was giving all praises when talking about her. She is a very special squirrel and has always had a large local following. She has changed the way many of my friends think of squirrels, especially the ones she has met. The kids just love to come over and feed her. We often associate squirrel and rodents together. While it may be very easy to box together squirrels and rodents, we must remind ourselves that squirrels can actually be friendly and can show emotions. Bella is sure proof that squirrels can turn out to be such amazing house pets. After all her adorable and spontaneous behavior, who can argue with this statement? Brantley explained, if Bella can teach at least one person to have compassion for all living things, no matter how big or how small, then we have done what we have set out to do. The little squirrel might not know this or might never be aware of the impact she has on the family, but it is truly amazing to see both parties affect each other so positively. So we hope that this story is enough to convince you that the random squirrel you are faced with the next day might turn out to be a squirrel like Bella. So the best thing is to always remain helpful and be a friend to squirrels or any other animals that you meet with. If ever you find yourself having the chance to save an injured squirrel, always be open to it. The Harrisons still to this day cannot believe that Bella returned for about 10 years. The family cannot stop gushing about the special squirrel because even though she may not know it, Bella had taught them a lot about compassion and affection. They are glad to know that she is an addition to the family and were lucky enough to help her. Indian giant squirrel. It has been recorded that there are around 200 squirrel species across the globe. They range from tree squirrels and flying squirrels and include marmots plus chipmunks too. They belong to the Squirrel family, however, they are not found in Australia and Antarctica. The Indian giant squirrel is considered the biggest species and can be found in South Asia. Squirrel teeth had a very wide range when it comes to size and length. The 5-inch teeth of African pygmy squirrel are nothing compared to the teeth possessed by the Indian giant squirrel or the teeth of the red and white giant flying squirrel from China. They can grow even longer than 3 feet. The 4 front teeth of a squirrel continue to grow throughout its lifetime. Squirrel on power lines. Frankly, the #1 threat experienced to date by the U.S. electrical grid is squirrels, claims John C. Inglis, who is the former deputy director of the National Security Agency. Electrical lines have been disrupted by a squirrel's teeth for years in America for the past 30 years. They had to shut down the Nasdaq stock market in 1987 and 1994 because of the same reason too. As the Brookings Institution writes, squirrels have taken down the power grid more times than the 0 times that hackers have. Black-tailed prairie dog pups. Tree squirrels are known to love alone, but during severely cold weather, they choose to be more social. Several squirrels kept together are called scurry or dray. The squirrel family has sociable species too. Prairie dogs are known to be very social and live together in a large group or community called towns, which can even amount to hundreds of acres of land. A Texas town had been noted to spread about 100 miles wide, 250 miles long with 400 million squirrels, and is the largest known town. All tree squirrels are from the genus Sciurus, that is originated from the Greek word skia, which translates to shadow, and aura, which means tail. This name is supposedly derived from the habit that tree squirrels has of hiding in the shadow of their fluffy tails. Tree squirrels were quite the novelty in New York City in the past years. In July 1856, people present at the New York Central Park were astounded to feast their eyes on a gray squirrel. Tree squirrels were slowly vanishing in the U.S. cities during the mid-19th century, however, after parks and trees were added, it resulted in the growth of the number of squirrels. The red squirrels have been slowly withering away in the UK because of the competitive American gray squirrel. Eastern greys are found to be most common in the US. When it comes to tree squirrels, and humans have actually contributed a lot in spreading them across Western North America to Europe and South Africa. Eastern greys have taken over UK and are replacing the native red squirrels slowly. Some Britons have alluded to eating gray squirrels as a part of battling the invasive species of squirrels. There is a long history of squirrels being used as meals in America as well. They serve as popular dishes in the form of Kentucky burgoo and Brunswick stew. Squirrel meat has slowly lost its repertoire in recent times, especially the flying squirrels. Americans are continuing to feed and hunt eastern greys. Squirrels' owls serve as a food source for predators like snakes, coyotes, hawks, and owls. Tree squirrels, even though they feed on nuts, seeds and fruits, still belong to the omnivores. The gray squirrels, for instance, are known to digest insects, snails, bird eggs and animal carcasses, if in case the other food they usually feed on is scarce. Image result for squirrel sleeping theory is a very strange thing that squirrels are not capable of doing. They, just like majority of the rodents, are incapable of vomiting. Squirrels are not able to burp or feel heartburn. Lucky or unlucky for them, you decide. A fox squirrel is the largest species of tree squirrels that can be found in North America and are known to be quite flexible in their diet. Squirrels are known to go at extensive lengths to find food for themselves. We often hear about them doing the most when they find a chance to get some nuts or fruits. The average adult squirrel has to have around a pound of food for every week. Tree squirrels do not hibernate in the cold weather of winter, but feed on Ontario acorns or nuts they collected throughout the year. Gray squirrels have devised ways to not lose their food by reburying or digging decoy holes to bluff onlookers. They have a strong noses, so even if they hide their stuff several times, they usually get them back 40 to 80%. A 2010 study revealed something truly shocking about squirrels. The researchers found out that some squirrels actually haul old rattlesnake skin, chew them in their mouth, to lick their own fur. For what purpose, you might be asking? Well, this is to create a rattlesnake perfume that serves as a way to avoid predators that hunt them on the regular. An all-black or an all-white squirrel, if spotted in America, is usually a gray or fox squirrel in disguise. The black coloration is due to melanism, that is a common condition for several species of animals. White fur is caused by albinism, but squirrels do not have the pink or red eyes. Brevard in North Carolina is home to many white-furred squirrels. The National Institutes of Health (NIH) has proven in their research work that hibernating squirrels can actually help stroke patients from experiencing brain damage. When squirrels hibernate, they usually have a reduced blood flow like how many humans living with strokes experience. Since they wake up without any after effects, doctors believe that this could grant the same resilience to the brains of ischemic stroke patients by mimicking the cellular changes that protect the brains of those animals, according to the NIH's statement.